Jesus, we're live. Look at that. Do you know, it's one of those days. Same as you. I'm sat here and I'm just like, uh, uh, oh, what did you think of that video I sent you, the breaking news one? When you get over the idiots saying, "Oh, we've been given permission," yeah, we get that. What did you reckon to that?
To be honest, mate, I hadn't got much of a chance to view it because I was flat out this afternoon and I never really got a chance to do anything.
Basically, you've got a load of lights in the you got a load of lights in the sky, and it looks like something breaking up, but it's breaking up horizontally. It's not breaking up vertically, and there's nothing falling down.
Right.
And it was seen by multiple people. It wasn't just seen by one lone person with a very dodgy mobile phone. It was filmed from several angles and was seen by lots of people. And as I say, it's in the sky. It's loads of lights. It looks like something breaking up with smoke coming off some of them, but it's all horizontal and nothing's going vertical. So that kind of threw me, because if it was an asteroid or a satellite re-entering or a spaceship re-entering, there would be the smoke, but it'd be coming bloody down. It wouldn't be just traveling in a straight line. And even the smoke was going in a straight line.
Right.
And that happened earlier on in the early hours of this morning over in America. So it was made for very interesting news. In fact, what I'll do,
I was going to say post it to the page, and people will be able to view it then, wouldn't they?
I was just about to do that. For anybody watching, this video came in this morning, and it was breaking news, etc., etc., etc. I'll put the link in the chat room now. All right, have a look at the video. Whilst you're there, you have a quick look at the video as well, and you'll see what I mean. All this, whatever it is, that's when you first look at it, it doesn't look like anything's breaking up. It looks like a ship going along, a very big ship. But when you look at it from the different angles, you can see smoke, and it literally looks like a ship has been hit with something and is breaking up, but instead of coming down, it's going in a straight line horizontally. So
I think third phase of the moon.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but for some unknown reason, my tablet was having a bit of a brain fart, and it had literally gone to 13 minutes in. I'm watching it now.
Yeah.
And to be honest, in my opinion, it looks like something's breaking up as it's coming into the atmosphere. It doesn't look to me that could be UFO related. I think that is something like a re-entry of some sorts, because they have stated that sorry, we had a musical interlude.
They said it was a SpaceX rocket or something, wouldn't they?
Yeah, well, there was recently a rocket was launched, releasing 7 satellites. They weren't nothing to do with SpaceX. It was a separate NASA launch, where they'd released 7 satellites into orbit. And I think there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 separate breakaways from where the satellites are being held. So one of the pieces was the large piece of fuselage, which was the main booster that gets it out of Earth's orbit.
Yeah, I thought that as well, because they even said, they put a thing up on the news a few hours later saying, oh, it's this rocket. But when you look at the first one, that's taken from quite a way back.
Yeah,
that's far too big to be a part of a rocket or something. It's bloody massive.
The problem, yeah.
You see what I mean? If it was,
problem is as well, if it's, I mean, and also we have had lots of news reports about asteroids are due to fly near to Earth.
But all in the same block, in the same straight line.
Well, the thing is, if it's on
a horizontal.
if it's on a set trajectory, it's got speed going before it. So as it enters Earth's atmosphere, it heats up, starts to break up. But if you notice the smaller pieces that are coming away from it, they're still traveling near enough at the same speed, just trailing slightly behind. And then they disappear, which means they burn out. So it could be something like an asteroid burning up, coming through our atmosphere with these smaller parts coming off. But I'm watching this one that's slightly closer, but to be honest, yeah, to me, it's looking more like an asteroid or a large meteor, because it just seems there's bits falling off it. So
yeah, no, I saw the bits coming off. But
if you were to put it down to, I think it would have been highlighted a lot more if that was something like a shot down UFO or something.
if it had been something like that, I think that would have been all over the news, because there's no way you can keep that quiet. But it was very strange that
it does look weird to see something like that and to be seen by so many people. And lately there has been a lot of reports all over the world.
I was just about to say that.
Strange things like that happening. But I can't remember what time of year we need to be in. I think we need to be in all, I think it's, I don't know, actually. James. I can't remember which one it is. We go for an asteroid field, I think, soon. And then we got another one in August.
Is that the Perseid one? Perseid.
I'm not too sure whether that's the one that's coming up or the one in August.
Well, that like I say, that particular video there that I've put the link to in the chat room there for everybody. If that's meteor or a meteor shower, as you said as well, it's one of the most bizarre ones I've ever seen, purely because it's linear and it's horizontal. You know.
Yeah.
It looks odd, but there's been a lot of those particular sightings, not just in America but across the world, since Christmas.
Right. It's the Lyrid meteor shower.
Lyrid.
Yeah. And it's set to peak in April.
Okay.
And then shortly after that, you've got the Etoacarids, which will peak, which is straight after that, and that peaks on the 5th to the 6th of May.
Hemorrhoid cream will sort that out for you, mate.
Oh dear. Well, we've got Ellen having a mad dash. Her mum's dog's just died.
Oh God. Oh dear. Not good.
Yeah. It's been ill for a couple of days. So, right, where are we? Let's go back to that. So
yeah, for those of you who want an odd video to look at, have a look at the YouTube link I've put up there.
It definitely looks a bit.
It's different. It's different.
Yeah.
I mean, that happened this morning in America.
I've seen a lot of videos of meteors entering the atmosphere and re-entries of rockets and stuff. And to be honest, to me, it would have to be a very large rocket to make that sort of break up.
Yeah. Have to be fucking hell of a rocket to do that.
Yeah.
The size of the bloody thing's huge.
I mean, even the SpaceX rocket is not that big. You know, when you compare it to the size of, say, the Saturn V rocket, you know, the Saturn V rocket's a behemoth. And that would be the sort of size you'd be looking at for the main booster rockets and the main fuselage one. So, you know, you'd be looking at that sort of size easily.
It's like I say, it's very different, and I've not seen one like that before. But I have seen videos from North America over the last few months of almost identical, but the other videos that I've seen, there's not been bits breaking off, and there hasn't been any smoke. It's just literally been going along in the night sky, silent with all the lights.
Yeah, but that one's got smoke trailing behind it.
That one has, yeah.
I hate to interrupt, but does Mark know anything about CPR on dogs?
Do you know anything about CPR on dogs?
You have to put them on their back. You have to enclose the nose and mouth with your mouth, and you have to 3 fingers in the middle of the chest, 2 breaths, gentle-ish breaths, and then pump about 8 times. 2 breaths, pump about 8 times.
2 breaths, pump 8 times.
2 breaths, pump 8 times. Mum, you need to do it if you're going to keep them alive.
Shall we do this tomorrow?
No, Ellen's going to go up there now.
All right. Okay.
The kids are in bed, so I can't leave the house. So
I wish them all luck.
So, but we're all right.
Okay. All right then. Well, good luck.
Be with us.
Mum.
You need to massage him, and you need to breathe into his mouth.
I can't do that.
No, it's gone.
Create a seal around the nose and the mouth, and he's got to be on his back. It's got to be
He's
on
gone.
his back.
How long has he been like that for?
Mum, how long has he been like? She said she rang me as soon as it happened.
So it's been about 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah.
It's gone. He ain't coming back from that, I'm afraid. Anyway.
Everything seems to happen on this show.
We have some strange stuff happen, don't we?
Moving swiftly on. What else has been happening? Because we said we'd start doing, the roundup of all the weird and the wonderful. Oh, talking of, because we were going to do cryptids, weren't we?
We were, and we've found quite a few.
And it seems to be at the moment all the same cryptid. And when we were talking about it beforehand, as you said, Mothman. Everybody knows about the Mothman.
Yeah.
But for some reason, and again, this is the weird thing, these sightings that I showed you and sent you a link to, they've been going back to December last year. And basically, a large winged creature has been seen all across North America. And it's mainly in Missouri, Chicago, Missouri again, Illinois, Chicago again, and Wisconsin, and it's all going along that bit. And they all described human body with wings, absolutely huge wings, creature with human proportions and wings. I hope it had trousers on. Otherwise, you'll hear some bloke going, "Christ, it's a tripod!"
Yeah.
Yes, very large wings and legs, all over the place. It seems to be.
Yeah, Downers. Well, there was the original sighting, I think, it says on here, goes back. Spoke to a man recently who said he'd seen a creature with bat-like wings, small bulbous head, and what seemed to be tentacles extending from behind it over Jackson Park Highlands neighborhood in Chicago at approximately 4 p.m. on September the 5th, 2011. So that's 10 years ago. Then there was winged beings seen around Lake Michigan, of which the Singular Fortean Society has been a part of since 2017. 3 cases have been referenced. All came out of Chicago and involved an anomalous photograph taken near Pulaski Road. Creature with glowing eyes reportedly beeping in windows around Miller Park in the University neighborhood, and a reported sighting of a similar creature in Washington Park near University of Chicago. Then another sight in the same year took place around 30 miles west in Downers Grove, where a man and his brother-in-law reported a huge creature, seemed to be a kind of jump, maybe dead drop out intentionally of a tree, and it fell forward, spreading or opening what looked like bat wings or a cape, and then a set of wings.
So we're talking about a Cape Crusader.
Well, they're saying bat wings. Obviously, when they fold the wings up, it looks like a cape, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So obviously, if he's going to jump out of a tree in front of you, and he hasn't opened his wings yet, it's going to look like it's a cape, isn't it? So someone would probably describe it as that way.
Or was it an advert for Bodyform?
No, because he weren't on roller skates.
I've just realised what you meant by "I do," Andy. You were talking about dog CPR. Sorry, mate, it wasn't blanking you. I was looking at your message now.
Yeah, we think he's
You
gone.
do what?
He must have gone for about 5 minutes. So
He's gone, and I've got to be the one to go and deal with it.
there's nothing Ellen can do to bring him back because it's going to take a good 20 minutes to get up there.
Yeah.
So
I'm sorry, I've got to leave in a rush.
no, all right.
I will see you at some point.
Well, don't be all night.
I don't plan to be.
No. Just go.
See you later.
Right. I'll see you
Okay.
later.
All right then. Love you.
Love you too.
God, I just said that on the live feed. I love you all. Right. Okay. So yeah, I mean, and that was in Jackson, but so of course these cases have been going on constantly. And again, if some people may not remember, but obviously way back in the day at Point Pleasant in West Virginia, the Mothman was reported on numerous occasions by numerous people. All were giving out warnings of a pending apocalyptic doom type thing in Point Pleasant. And this went on for quite a series of weeks, I think, weeks or months. And then eventually the bridge collapsed.
That's right.
I think about 36 people, wasn't it? I think. So could this, what people had seen, be the Mothman?
Very, very, very probably, I would think.
Because it also does tie into the singular we'll say it properly. The Singular Fortean Society had released details of an air traffic controller provides more info on O'Hare Mothman sighting from July 2020. Identity remains unverified. So are they talking about Biden being president and that's why he's coming back and scaring people?
But he keeps tripping up plane steps, doesn't he? He keeps going.
He can't even say a speech. The bloke, he can't even come out with a speech without stopping halfway through.
How old is he?
I don't know. He's probably one of the oldest presidents they've ever had, isn't he? But I think he's got something like dementia or Alzheimer's. He must have.
Well, it's got to be better than Trump.
I don't know. When he starts talking about one thing and then completely sidetracks and go on to something else, you're like, hang on a minute, what's going on?
Time for my pills.
So, it's weird how all these sightings, they're all, I don't know, it's confusing. But there's another one, the Lake Michigan Mothman. Mothman is popping up all over the place, and I'm wondering whether they're trying to, because of COVID and all the lockdowns and everything else that's been going on over there, I sort of partly wonder whether they're trying to boost advertising for the Mothman Festival.
I seem to remember that the original Mothman, there were a lot of sightings before and after the main one that garnered attention. And it wasn't just the US; it was all over the world.
Yeah, there was. I did a small mini documentary sort of thing about the Mothman, and there have been alleged sightings. They've not been confirmed, but there has been alleged sightings of him at Chernobyl in '86. So 86, something like that. When the Chernobyl disaster happened, there was sightings of him when the Fukushima nuclear power plant blew up, but these have not been backed up. There's been no verification, and there's been a small number of people have admitted to seeing something, but the descriptions from the Chernobyl one were not the same as the Point Pleasant one. And the Japanese,
of course not. He's near a bloody nuclear reactor. He's got an extra set of testicles hanging off the left side of his face for a start.
The apparent sighting in near Fukushima, they said that was more like a crow a large black bird rather than a bat or a moth.
Sorry, too many jokes for me in that sentence. I'm just
So the different sightings are not adding up. So, but they've all turned around and said it's the Mothman, and it could be the fact is that they're relating it to what happened in Point Pleasant. But there has been a lot of, like we've said before, there was a sighting down in Cornwall, I think it was, of this large black thing hanging over a church tower and scared the living daylights out of them two girls.
Well, it's like the Cornish SAS stormed bloody Tesco's down in Penzance the other day, didn't they?
Yep.
Because they had bin liners were in the one of the aisles down there. You got to do it with the accent. Bin Laden, bin liners isn't there.
Another one, reports from the void. It had the body of a human, but it had wings.
I've got one for you. Have you got now? Let me just very quickly. I can't remember if I sent you this link. Yeah, I did. It was in our chat, but I'll have to go back into our chat and send you this again. And then when you do, click on that, and then what you need to do after that is click on UFO crashes. And see what you make of this. It's in the USSR. It's photographs from an alleged UFO crash in the USSR in Russia, 1969. And apparently these are the original photos and the original videos.
Whoever it is that runs this website, they need to learn to spell.
Oh, God, yeah.
I'm quite sure it wasn't the USSA.
Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't the USSA. But let me put this into the chat room, and then you guys who are watching, you can make your own minds up about it. Night, Titch. Love you. And then
I saw the first picture, and the alarm bells were ringing straight away.
Which one? Hang on, let's go back up to the top. Oh,
no, yeah, go up to the top, and you've got the man standing in front of it.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you scroll down to where there's a group of soldiers walking past.
Yeah.
And then the next one is the one that sets the alarm bells off.
That dude in the middle there?
Well, there's two scientific factors there that are setting alarm bells off. That's screaming fake. Anything that enters the ground at force will push anything forward. There is no.
Of course, yes, yeah.
So that has been put in there, and the soil has been dug around it because that's at least halfway into the ground. So the force it would have needed, and especially if it's Russia, so that ground looks frozen to me.
Yeah.
So that would have had to have gone in with some hell of a force, and that would have kicked up chunks of earth at least a good 10, 15 feet from where them blokes are standing.
Unless it's been cleared.
But they don't look like that. If you look at the previous pictures, you see snow on the ground. And there wouldn't be. There'd be thrown up soil, and there isn't. The previous picture shows that the soil goes right up to the edge of the object. But on that third picture, how come there's no damaged trees? You can see a couple. You can see a couple of branches to the left, but that's coming at an angle that would have taken those trees out. There would have been a hell of a lot more tree debris on the floor.
It's all right. I'm listening to you, but there's another one. There's another story underneath it. The UFO crash of Virginia, Brazil, January the 20th, 1996. I'm sure before you joined Dark Mirror, I'm sure we did a story on this. I'm absolutely sure we did. On January the 20th, military forces captured 2 extraterrestrial creatures still alive in Brazil. The capture occurred in neighbouring areas of the city of Vagina. I'm so glad that's got an R in it. Vargina, not vagina, Vagina. State of Minas Gerais, central Brazil. Got around that one. Military authorities keeping secret all details of the operation, but some information has been leaked to the UFO community. There's a photograph of 3 Brazilian kids pointing to some twigs. And here's the details. On the afternoon of January the 20th, about 3:30 p.m., 3 young girls named blah, 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 observed a strange creature in a field of small bushes a few blocks from where they live. Saturday, they were coming back from their jobs, crossing an empty area, and they were attracted by a strange being a few meters away. The ET was kneeling and looked like it was hurt, suffering some sort of pain. No UFO was ever seen. The girls observed it for a few minutes and ran away, afraid that they'd just encountered the devil. The 3 girls were extensively interrogated by above-mentioned researchers, leaving no doubt whatsoever about what had happened. According to these people, these researchers, they had described the ET as being a dark brown creature with a small body about 4 to 5 feet in height, no hair, big brown head, small neck, and it seemed to have some greasy dark oil on its skin. A strange odour was noticed by the mother of the girls when she went to the site. And the head of the creature had 2 big red eyes, no pupils, a very small mouth and nose, and what is interesting, 3 protuberances in the head, which the girls described as horns. Following their leads, the researchers started making inquiries in the town. They found several other people who had seen this ET or ETs in the location and in various other locations. Both discovered that the different witnesses had seen army trucks and other military vehicles and personnel the very morning of that day, a few blocks from the place where the girls saw the ETs.
Yeah, I mean, there was a video circulating around, wasn't there? Some kids at a birthday party and something was in the bushes behind them.
That's right, yeah.
And everybody just sort of poo-pooed the idea, didn't they? And they laughed at it. But the Brazilians tend to be sort of
Very
quite
open.
relaxed with releasing their information.
Yes.
So I don't know. You know, it's an age-old issue, isn't it? Is do you tell the people and panic them or what? But you know, there's all sorts of strange creatures in South America and the rainforest that we still haven't even discovered yet. So could they have come across some strange, bizarre monkey or something? Or
well, according to the witnesses, the army came along, used nets and etc., caught them and casted them off. So
yeah,
make of it what you will.
It's possible.
I'd still like to know what that video was this morning. So that would be interesting to know what that was.
Yeah, I mean that's the video beneath that Brazilian one, which I don't know, would be like the chupacabra, wouldn't it? Basically, I know that's what they'd have said before, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
The finger at chupacabra. But there's a video underneath at the bottom of that article, goes on for 46 minutes.
Oh yeah.
It's about 50 minutes long, and that is literally the Vagina UFO incident. But I mean, I just actually witnessed the first couple of minutes of it, and straight away it's showing you a video of what appeared to be our wonderful Tic Tac plummeting into the desert. And
do you know what? The world's
different light shards kicking off, and
the world's kind of got a hard on for Tic Tacs at the moment, hasn't it?
I think so. A bit like that video I showed you the other day. That looked very much like CGI, I'm afraid. Very good graphics.
Very good, but the water wasn't doing having any reaction.
But the problem is, and I was thinking about this the other day, is when if you are using anti-gravity, you've created a force field around that ship. So it may not necessarily create a sonic boom because it's not disturbing its surroundings due to the force field it's using.
No, that's cool. But the fact that the filming was meant to be from a helicopter, and the helicopter was so silent you could hear the zoom on the camera.
Yeah, but it was along with that at the same time that appeared. They were saying about this sonic boom, this very fast object that didn't create a sonic boom, but should have done because it was going faster than the speed of sound. You can rule things out like that sometimes simply because if it's got the technology, speed is irrelevant to that vehicle.
Well, so long as it keeps it at over 60 miles an hour and they don't slow down, and it'll be fine. It won't blow up.
Yeah.
Build the bomb on the bus, dude.
It's got that article also has the Kecksburg UFO crash.
And Shag Harbour.
And there is a picture of it.
Kecksburg, yeah.
The Kecksburg on that document that you just sent me.
Yeah.
Where you've got that Russian one, then the Brazilian one. Underneath that is UFO crash in Bolivia in 1978.
Yeah.
Which was witnessed by thousands of people.
Yeah.
Which obviously in that time period there wouldn't have been anything special.
Yeah.
Because the only photographs they've got literally is a picture of the mountaintop and an artist impression of people pointing up at something crashing out the sky.
Yeah.
But underneath that you've got the Shag Harbour UFO, and under that it then goes on to the Kecksburg UFO crash in 1975.
Yes, I see it.
Look at the picture, the colour photo.
Oh, look at that. There's a Nazi bell.
It's a giant acorn. But that don't look big enough to me, to be honest. It doesn't look that big to be able to sort of hold, because am I making sense? If all the reports,
all these reports, was only supposed to hold 2 people, wasn't it?
Yeah, but all these reports of alien greys being like 6 or 7 foot tall or higher, that ain't big enough to hold 2 alien greys.
Maybe minions.
So it wouldn't be used for abducting because you wouldn't be able to fit a third person in there.
Perhaps. The Nazis did do time travel, and when it vanished in Germany, that's where it appeared in that time.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to have to sideline this article because, it is quite interesting.
It's, it is, isn't it? See, this is the stuff that I sent you in a week. I'm just trying to get past it and get down there.
Problem is, I've had so much aggro this week. It's just been unbelievable. I'm so far behind with my writing and everything, and I'm like, I don't know whether I'm coming or going. Plus, obviously, we've got my Truth Beyond Paranormal live feeds as well, which seem to be doing more and more of for some reason.
Yeah.
What's this? UFO crash near Laredo, Texas.
There's been quite a few with them, hasn't there? I've just been looking down the list, and I'm trying to find something a bit more interesting for these guys. Oh, what's that?
I still think what amazes me how there seems to be, and I don't know whether it's just me or whether other people are actually thinking this as well, but apart from documented cases of visitation from other beings, i.e. things like the Bible, the Aztec ruins, the Egyptian ruins and whatnot, and Aborigine cave paintings and things like that actually do depict an alien race. I find it strange that all of a sudden these documented cases of UFO sightings have all happened from the Second World War onwards.
Yeah, it does seem a bit, but there are also other historical cases, aren't there? Especially the ones that are put in paintings and things as well.
Yeah, there are, but I just find it a little bit odd that, you know, Operation Paperclip happens. They whisk all these German scientists and that away over to America to work with NASA and their rocket program. And all of a sudden it's, oh, look, there's a UFO crash in 1945,
I do think
1948.
I do think a lot of them are our own experimental aircraft. I think possibly 3/4 of them are, but I don't think we're the only people in this universe whatsoever. And I think we have visitations, and all the governments know about it. I think it's been happening for a long time.
Yeah. This one looks hilarious. New Mexico UFO crash encounter in August the 16th, 1945. It does look quite funny because they got this guy, picture of a guy there with a big cheesy grin, showing that he's got great dental work being done. And then the next photo, he just definitely looks as if it's been photoshopped.
Oh dear! I was actually reading the other one about the tomato guy. Where did that just go? It was a very strange headline indeed. And he's filmed a body. He's taken photographs of a burnt body and bits of UFO. Tomato Man photographs of alien body and the Laredo, Texas crash of July 7th, 1948. You seen that one?
No. Is that on the same feed?
Yeah. There was. I'm just trying to. Doesn't really give you much of a story. There's a black and white photograph. Hang on a minute. These dates don't add up. July 7th, 1948, and the photograph that I'm looking at says 1957 on it.
Okay.
Whoever does this website, I'm sorry, but you need to fact check a lot of stuff before you put dates with it, because it's contradicting itself a lot. Interesting photos, but when you look at them properly, contradicting themselves left, right, and centre. Yeah, no, they're not. That's not very good at all. Let me look for a different one. Let's go to UFO sightings, or shall we go to military sightings? Which you up?
Military.
Right.
Because I think that's quite interesting, military sightings, because they sort of have been or have had a bad tendency of withholding stuff, haven't they? So,
well, there you go. The top one, Mexican Air Force pilots film 11 UFOs. And what were we saying about how open and honest the South Americans are about UFOs?
Yep.
So do you want to read that one?
If I can get to it. Hang on a minute. Right. Okay, yeah, that was March 2004. The Mexican Air Force pilots filmed 11 unidentified flying objects in the skies over southern Campeche state in Mexico. A Mexican Defense Department spokesman confirmed a videotape was made widely available to the news media. The lights were filmed using infrared equipment. They appeared to be flying at an altitude of about 3,500 meters and allegedly surrounded the Air Force jet. The Mexican Air Force pilots, they filmed 11 flying objects in the skies. The lights were filmed on March the 5th by pilots using infrared equipment. They appeared to be flying at an altitude of around 3,500 meters. And allegedly surrounded the Air Force jet as it conducted routine anti-drug trafficking vigilance. And only 3 objects showed up on the plane's radar. One of the pilots said, "Was I afraid? Yes."
I like that quote. Was I afraid? Yes.
A little afraid because we were facing something that had never happened before, said radar operator Lieutenant Garman Marin in a taped interview made public on Tuesday. I couldn't say what it was, but I think they're completely real. The infrared equipment operator, who was this was from the infrared equipment operator that was sitting in the passenger seat or the navigator's seat. And he said that there was no way there was no way to alter the recorded images. The plane's captain, Major Magdaleno Castellon, said the military jets chased the lights, and I believe they could feel we were pursuing them. When the jets stopped following the objects, they disappeared.
Talking of weird things, have you seen, if you scroll down, you'll see a thing on the right, which apparently is the photo of that alien girl from the fabled Apollo 20 mission. Click on that.
God.
Yeah, click on that. Click on that, because I've
funny.
seen so many different things saying about the Apollo
Missions.
20 mission.
Yeah, well, Apollo mission stopped at mission 17, didn't it?
Yeah.
And they claimed that there was actually an 18, 19, and 20. And they were all supposedly to the far side of the moon.
Yeah.
And when they landed there, they found all sorts of odd structures. They actually visited these structures and went inside them and filmed them at the same time.
Yeah.
And the poor old weird alien type lady, which they claim had a socket for the third eye, which obviously is there.
Yeah.
But she was covered in some sort of waxy substance, like she'd been mummified for some reason.
Pipe work as well, wasn't there?
Yes. So they have, and they have been deleting the videos that have been surfacing since 2015. The CIA have been deleting them.
The video's here. Let me see if I can get the link to it.
It's on Amazon. I watched the documentary about it last week, and it was literally all about the structures on the moon. But they, towards the end of the documentary, they actually went on to saying that they'd found this, and so many people had said this is fake and everything else. But the photos spoke for themselves. There are strange anomalies on the moon, and no one's denying that. But as far as this being is, how much of that's going to be accurate?
Right. Hang on. There you go. I've just put in the chat room there a link to the video of the Apollo, a thing all about the fabled Apollo 20 mission, where they found an alien ship on the dark side of the moon, and the alien ship also had a dead lady alien in it, and they took photos, etc., etc. Have a look.
The film on Amazon Prime,
yeah,
that it does actually relate to this, and it is basically spot on with the fact that there is what looks like a fuselage of some sort on the moon's surface. But the main part of the film that I'd seen on Amazon Prime was that it was actually documenting the fact that strange structures had been photographed on the moon.
Yeah.
From when the first Apollo mission started. There were strange things up there, and they wanted to know what these things were, because they didn't fit in with its surrounding area.
That's right.
There's pictures there of structures that have got squared off edges, things that stick out the ground that are 21 miles high, but don't fit in with the rest of the environment.
Yes.
So if you've got a spire that's 21 miles high, yet there's nothing anywhere nearby that is anywhere remotely near half as tall, that can't be just an anomaly.
Yeah.
It just can't be an odd thing that's happened on the moon. Something has put that there. And there's been a case of the needles at Mars, or is it Thebes? One of the moons of Mars, or on Mars itself. There's been like these big needles have been seen on photography, and one of them was actually seen coming out of Mars.
Yeah. There's just 1 second. Could you two stop doing that? The two pugs, both boys, both brothers, both been snipped, trying to bum each other silly. Stop it! Jesus. Anyway, yeah.
So I mean, if
lots of things on Mars.
Yeah,
on the moon.
if these needles that have been seen shooting out from Mars are true and accurate, they are claiming that this could be what has been found on the moon that's 21 miles high. This weird needle has been forced from Mars into the moon. But they've found pipework and bridges, or I don't know how you say it. You know, when you got those big oil pipes that they come out of the ground and they go up and over and down like a bridge would.
Yeah.
They've actually got still photograph footage of these weird structures on the surface of the moon, and they've shown pipes going on the surface, then going under the surface, going through a crevice in the moon's surface and out the other side, and then popping out somewhere else with a tower on the end of it.
I see what you mean about the black and white photo that shows something definitely cylindrical on the face of the moon.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you don't need a rocket scientist to tell what looks like a crater and what doesn't. But when you look at some of the pictures that they have taken of the far side of the moon, there is stuff there that does not make sense.
There is no, you're absolutely right. There's also, isn't there, supposed to be a moon base that's been up there since the late 70s, and it's got, apparently, is it 3 different types of aliens up there along with us?
Yeah, they reckon we're working alongside them. Hence the reason why there was an Apollo 18, 19, and 20. Because originally the Apollo missions were supposed to stop at 20, but for some reason, and they did not disclose it, they stopped at 17. And they eventually claimed that it was becoming too expensive. So, it was too expensive.
All the other stories, there was the extra ones.
It made me laugh when I actually sort of heard that and thought, well, hang on a minute. The Apollo missions were too expensive, and yet you went for a smaller mission, but using a rocket just as big, just as powerful, used up more fuel, and it had a space shuttle on the back of it.
Yeah.
That was far more expensive than the Saturn V missions.
What do you make? I think actually next week's show, the missing Apollo missions. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you make of the Apollo 20 video? Because I think that should be some homework for next week as we watch the Apollo 20 video. Because I've seen it before. Good God, woman, bless you.
What was that?
Sorry, that was my missus' backside. She sneezed. I've seen the Apollo 20 mission alleged footage that was filmed from the Apollo ship and filmed from the cams attached to the front of their spacesuits. And some of it, as you say, there's some of it on there really makes you go, oh, because if it's special effects and makeup, some of that stuff, there's no bloody way we had the know-how for doing that then.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, on this that UFO sightings daily thing that you put us on, NASA photo is proof of Apollo 20 mission. So NASA had stated that there was no Apollo 20 mission. So someone has obtained that photo off the NASA archives and gone, so what do you call that?
Yeah. NASA are known for clamming up and lying anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that is a very strange anomaly. And obviously they now know there is water on the moon. They seem to be doing U-turns on what the moon actually is, because they are now saying there are light winds on the moon. There is a slight gravity on the moon, which has created those light winds. Could those light winds have created something like that over the millions of years of it being up there? You look at the Grand Canyon, you look at Table Mountain, different types of erosion will create a different effect on different types of rock. Could that be part of that? But that looks too, I don't know, it looks too clean.
It does. I think that is next week's show, the Apollo 20 mission.
I better get off this bit then. Let's get off this page.
It's just no. I mean, we can talk about it now as well. It's. I see exactly what you're saying. And also when you
too
look at it
clean.
as
It
well,
looks like
on the
it
right hand
looks like a
side, it's got
sword.
like a tail or something coming off it.
Yeah, it looks like a sword. If you look at it, it looks like a sword with the hilt, the handle.
Oh yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah.
It looks too clean. It looks like a Roman sword, and that looks just way too clean to do anything with atmospherics or gravity or any wind or any water erosion that may have been there. That it just looks too strange. It looks too clean and proper.
It does. And also on that same page is, if you scroll down a bit in red letters, alien moon base captured by Challenger 2 orbiter video, February 2012. I've got to click on this just for the hell of it. Let's have a look at this. All right, because I've just seen the black and white photo that's on there, and it's like,
I've just noticed something actually. I've tried scrolling down to where you said, and I probably scrolled in the wrong place.
yeah.
Apollo 20 alien technology retrieval mission 2007.
Oh, let's have a look at that. Hang on.
And that is on that same article with the alien woman, just underneath the video. On April of 2007, several videos apparently taken by NASA have emerged showing a city on the moon and a close-up of an alien cigar-shaped vessel in the Del Porte crater. These videos were from the Apollo 20 mission. Apollo 20 was a covert Apollo mission to the moon to retrieve ancient alien technology.
Yeah.
Which apparently the CIA has been trying, much to their distress, to remove. CIA, updated on the 6th of February 2015, the CIA has been deleting videos pertaining to the city and EBE found on the moon. Suggest you download it before they succeed.
Well, also, there's the other thing that any time anything goes near the ISS, they cut the feed.
Yeah.
Because I've seen a few things where you see stuff in the background and then the feed cuts. It's like,
yeah,
really,
Mark's just raised a good point, and this is what they're suspecting about the possibility that the Russians or the Chinese have already beat us to it.
We were talking. Mark and I were actually talking about that the other day.
Yeah, it wouldn't be surprising, but then there is a film. There is a film about that, isn't there, or a TV series where the Chinese have beaten them up to Mars, and I'm sure that was on. I'm sure it was on Amazon, and Mission Control tells them to go and destroy the Chinese base, so they go off to destroy their base, and as they're going back, the Chinese buggy's going back the other way after destroying their base. So they've just gone and destroyed each other's base. And as they drive past the Chinese are going, bye. And you're like, oh my God. But they literally did a mission to the moon because they said, we're out of date here, we need to go there. So they do. And of course, that's the end result. I can't remember what film it was, but it was quite funny.
There was also that other one, wasn't there? Although it was a piss take, it was that one about the Germans going up in the Second World War and building a moon base, and they turned the black guy white and everything.
Oh yes, that is Iron Skies.
Yeah. There's an Iron Skies too as well, isn't there?
Yes, there is. I've seen both of them, and it's so funny. Yeah. They're corny but funny at the same time.
Oh dear. I think next week we'll do the Apollo 20 mission because there's so much in that. And looking at that page that we're looking at, there's so many things that lead off from it, and it is that one's a bit of a treasure trove. I think some of the other stuff was completed as a horse
Chinese yin yang symbol discovered in NASA photo of Saturn's moon Lapetus.
Where's that? Oh, no. I've seen buildings on Mercury.
The moon base discovered with Google Moon. Google Moon actually found a base on the moon.
I've just seen
Squirrel
the yin
discovered
yang.
on Mars.
Yes, yeah, I saw the squirrel on Mars. For God's sake. Life discovered on Mars by NASA Opportunity rover.
The thing is like I've been saying for ages, and we've discussed about this so many times, haven't we? That if another race on a planet 70,000 light years away or whatever has got the technology, like we said about this warp drive that's going to be made within the next 10 or 15 years, it's going to take 4.5 years to travel 70,000 light years.
Yeah.
That, in terms of, I don't know, distance and time, I suppose, that's pretty damn quick. But the technology's there. Now, if an alien race is only a couple of hundred years more advanced than us, why haven't they got bases on the moon or Saturn or Mercury or Mars?
Why can't they haven't?
Exactly. We're thinking about doing that. So who says another being hasn't already thought of that and beaten us to it? We don't know, because we've only just started mapping the dark side of the moon.
Yeah.
So we're only just finding out these things. So who's to say they haven't been there for 200 years already?
Well, the thing is, like I said, there's supposed to be a base up there, and it's been up there for a while. But I mean, you add that along with what other stuff would be up there. Oh, I suppose there'd be some transformers up there. You never know. But I reckon there is definitely something up there that is either being mistaken for or looks very much like things that we as a race would put up there. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I mean that site has got moon buildings. They've got 231 files about moon buildings, and it does look really bizarre. Some of the first lot of photos they've got on there are really weird.
Moon buildings. Let's have a look. There. Right. Hang on.
I mean, who lays a ruler out on the moon? There's an alien architect out there somewhere who's actually leaving a ruler on the moon by mistake.
See, well, that's some sort of bloody runway, isn't it?
That's a bloody long runway.
Well, it's a bloody long runway. I think this is definitely stuff to investigate for next week, because that can tie in nicely with the Apollo 20 mission. But some of them look plausible, and then some of them you look at and I think they're just like, nah, somebody's mucked about with that picture. Especially the one with lots of little pinpricks all over it.
Yeah, I've scrolled further down, and a lot of them, there are, they've actually taken the photo, and it looks like a couple of the pictures have been taken with a high definition camera.
Yeah.
And the other two, the rest of them have all been a normal camera. And what they've done is they've actually they've put the names of the craters on the picture.
Yeah.
In white letters, and then you've got that big long black line that runs up along the right hand side of the picture, and you think, to me, that looks like there's an error there with the printing of the picture, instead of it actually being something on the moon, because it goes up and then it stops dead when it goes into the high definition picture.
Which side of the moon is this meant to be with all the little dots on? Because I've got a telescope, and I look at the moon every now and again, and I've never seen any of those dots. Ever.
No. The thing is they're picking these up from an orbiter. It's actually going around the moon. And this will reiterate the fact that I said that a couple of weeks back, when someone had posted what he believed to be 3 UFOs orbiting around the moon. And no one actually commented back on it, and I turned around and said, you do realise that there are satellites actually going around the moon.
Yeah.
It's like Google Moon. They've got a satellite up there going around the moon, mapping the moon's surface. That's why you can
Google
buy an
Moon.
acre of moon.
Some of Google Moon, when you go on it, it's got little bits that are completely blacked out that you can't see.
Yeah, one of those bits that are completely blacked out is my 10 acres. Apparently, I own 10 acres of the moon. I don't see that somehow, but you know, it's just a little
We own a
gimmick.
star. We're supposed to own a star.
So I mean,
yeah.
a lot of these photos that are on here all seem to be near enough the same photos of this what looks like a runway of some sort on the moon, but I'm seeing these pictures as something that's got in between the lens and the object they're taking the picture of.
Yeah, I'm not convinced with those.
I don't think it's on the ground as such.
But the Apollo 20 ones, they're definitely something to look at. And yeah, we'll do that for next week's show, because then we've got all week to, look at the stuff for the Apollo 20. Because I've always thought that the Apollo 20 mission it's got something to it that there's something to it that is entirely plausible.
What I'm not understanding though is why is it that Apollo 20 all of a sudden breaks out into the limelight, and yet Apollo 18 and Apollo 19 nothing about?
I think possibly because it's 20 is the one where they supposedly found the downed alien craft, and they found the body of the alien pilot that was female with a third eye and looking slightly Chinese, etc., etc., etc. So
I'm going to have a look. Right. Okay. Right. Several planned missions of the Apollo crewed moon landing program of the 1960s and 70s were cancelled for various reasons, including changes in technical direction, the Apollo 1 fire. That makes sense. We had a fire on Apollo 1, so we're not going to have any more Apollo missions.
There was another Apollo fire.
And yet they had 16 other Apollos after Apollo 1 caught fire.
There was another Apollo fire, and I can't remember which one it was, where the crew died, but the person that died, or the people that died, were the ones who were going to whistleblow on one of their previous missions. And then all of a sudden, the locking mechanisms went up the creek, so they couldn't get out, and then the stuff inside went on fire. I remember reading about that one somewhere. I'll have a look in the week and see which one it was.
Well, it says here, Apollo 1 fire, hardware delays and budget limitations. After the landing by Apollo 12, Apollo 20, which would have been the final crewed mission to the moon, was cancelled to allow Skylab to launch as a dry workshop, which was assembled on the ground in an unused Saturn 4, Saturn 1B second stage unit. The next two missions, Apollos 18 and 19, were later cancelled after the Apollo 13 incident and further budget cuts. Two Skylab missions also ended up being cancelled. Two complete Saturn Vs ended up being going unused and are currently on display in the States, which I've seen one of them.
And there's also the thing that, as we said about 10 minutes ago, was NASA say that this and this happened, and we cancelled this and this. But there's other people who were on the mission saying, actually, it wasn't cancelled; it went ahead. But they just because it was Black Ops, it wasn't. It wasn't known.
Well, according to this, Apollo 18 was supposed to have gone to the Copernicus crater. Apollo 19 was supposed to have gone to the Hadley Reel, and the Apollo 20 was supposed to have gone to the Tycho crater.
Well, we'll find out for next week. That'll be interesting. That I think we're going to call it a night, because you look bloody knackered anyway. That's happened with your missus' family. I'm knackered.
I'm Billy No Mates now. I'm just left and the kids are all asleep. So
well, I'll talk to you in a minute anyway.
Now. I'm like, yeah, cheers.
Anyway, mate.
Yeah.
For you guys watching, thank you very much for watching and staying with us. And for you guys watching on YouTube, again, thank you. Next week we will do definitely the Apollo 20 mission, because I think that's really, really interesting, and I think Wayne's the same.
Yeah, definitely, because something ain't right there, and there's so many people saying it did go ahead now.
Yeah.
They may have cut short the 18 and 19 missions, but it looks like they did do a 20. It's just they did it quietly.
Yeah. When's your next Spookanori, or when's your next ghost hunting video?
Right, at the moment there will be no more Spookanori lives, because I'm still currently in the process of writing the next book,
right?
Which is a double bubble. It's going to be 2 stories in this one, so because they are fairly small, so should be 2 stories, unless I, for some unknown reason, just to increase it by about 6
I'll be down to see you on the 6th.
Yeah, well, I'll make sure. Well, I'm looking at not releasing the next release won't be until the end of April. I've done it the wrong way round, really, because on the cover of Cricket, my son's face appears on it.
Yeah, I remember you saying on the eye.
And it's his birthday on April the 30th, which is when I'm going to release the next one. So I should have done it the other way round. I should have released that one first and then released Cricket on his birthday.
When's your next paranormal team video?
Well, we are not, obviously, because of lockdown, we're not still physically going out. We're just doing lives from our own homes and that. And at the moment, with Truth Beyond Paranormal, we're just doing Meet the Teams on a Tuesday. And then we're doing live remote investigations on a Saturday normally.
Okay.
And we've had some really strange stuff happen on both the lives that we've done so far. They've been really strange. We've had haunted dolls that have actually moved. They've blinked their eyes. They've waved their hands. So, and that's been with Argyle, 2 of our team that are with Argyle Ghost Guides up in Scotland.
Okay.
So,
cool.
Pretty smart stuff.
Right. Well, as soon as they come on, let me know, and I'll post them up for you and everything.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
You guys will see me again on Sunday at 7. The new time is 7 p.m. with the Taylorius Melorius, with our usual roundup of paranormal top 10s. And then you'll see us again on Friday. So in the meantime, thank you very much for listening and staying with us. Whilst we frantically look for stuff, because we haven't done it, we've just been too busy all week. I had done research and read a load of it, but it was when you read it properly, you go, yeah, it's boring, really, isn't it? So we try and find
to be honest, what have we found as a result? We've sort of had the intention of doing one thing, and then all of a sudden we've just gone, whoa, there's a gold mine.
And that is the Dark Mirror Show. So
Indeed.
We will see you. I'll see you on Sunday, and we'll see you next week. So it's goodbye from me, and it's goodbye
from me.
From him. Right. Say bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.